Hello Internet and welcome to this day in history for the 8th of October. Today we are in 1829. We are in the Rainhill areas of England. More specifically, we are at the Rainhill trials, where a fellow by the name of George Stephenson won a competition by means of a moving tea kettle he had invented. More specifically, of course, it was today in 1829 that the Rocket won the Rainhill trials to become the winner of the competition to develop a new functioning locomotive for the burgeoning and newly designed railroads. More specifically, in this particular case, the nearly completed Liverpool and Manchester railways. There were several other competing opportunities, but in the end, only the Rocket completed all of its runs, and it became the model upon which most early railway locomotive was created. This is, of course, interesting not just for the giant step forward in general mass transit. Admittedly, the Greeks had actually already developed everything they needed for a railroad tracks about 2,000 years prior, but no one thought about bringing all the things together until 2,000 years later in 1829, the beginning of the 1830s, of course. Now, the railroad took some time to really catch on, especially with mass transit, but at least at this point, the principle has been created. The general idea of how railroad should work, at least up until we invented the internal combustion engine, was basically at this point settled. Beyond the immediate jump, of course, in mass transit, it was also the concept of a well-functioning steam engine that, alongside such inventions as the spinning jenny, created what is basically the foundation for the Industrial Revolution, which itself lent itself to produce and fund the race for Africa and the European colonizations of the rest of the world. It is one thing to always remember that up until this moment, except of course in North America, until the ending of the 19th century, Europe didn't actually have all that many colonies around the world. Britain had more or less taken India back in the 18th century, and there were pinpricks all over, but it wasn't really until 1840 and going forward that the Europeans really took over the world, took over all of Africa, took over most of East Asia, and so on and so on. And a lot of this was basically funded by the increasing production efforts and the increasing wealth funded by the Industrial Revolution, and Stephenson's rocket was a very important step in producing the Industrial Revolution in its own way. Some can of course argue that the whole concept of colonization and imperialism is a very bad thing, but it did, no matter what else, become a part of what led to modern day society, and it's part of history, so there you are. Anyway, this day in history for the 8th of October, we are in 1829, where George Stephenson takes his tea kettle out for a little spin between Manchester and Liverpool. I hope this has been interesting to you. Until next time, I have been the Sage, and I wish you all a very happy day.